Smart Dust, a presentation by Arturo, Banda, and Sydney Wright for MIS. We chose this topic because of the possibility smart dust can bring to our future. So what is smart dust or MOTES? They're also known as micro electromechanical system, also known as MOTES as well. They're small micro-sized devices that transmit signals, data, or information via built-in sensors, cameras, or micro devices to a cloud or home system. On the right, you can see the caption of the smart dust components, in which they're split into passive CCR comm, sensors, laser diodes, active beam steering laser to communicate, and they span about 1 to 2 millimeters in length as of right now, but they are trying to go ahead and make them smaller as time progresses. So how this technology works? This particular piece of technology works when it is activated by MEMS, which, as we stated in the previous slide, stood for micro electromechanical systems. These MEMS start a progression in the digital circuitry and wireless communication. Each node is then used within the sensor networks, which are comprised of 3 different subsystems. These subsystems are comprised of the mechanism that senses the environment, the processing system, which performs local computations, and lastly, the communication subsystem, which has the task of exchanging messages based on connecting sensor nodes. All of these sensors contain vibration mechanisms to help identify problems with things such as machines at oil fields. And we'll dive deeper into examples later about that. So why this was created? To make it easier to collect information in environments without actually being there or being detected. The tiny devices can monitor anything from safety to compliance to productivity in a targeted environment or workplace, and they can potentially enhance information gathering for companies, individuals, or government entities who need 24/7 exact readings of what's going on in any kind of environment that they need. So the importance of smart dust: such a minuscule scale design allowed by 3D printing allows new obstacles of such small devices to be overcome, as the technology used to gather info can be top of the line or even as good as a computer, sensor, or camera itself in capturing and transmitting information. It's also allowed to take HD photos, gather direct and exact readings of air quality, temperature, or vibrations, and transmit as much information that can be stored on an entire computer hard drive. And lastly, they monitor large-scale environments to handle everything without labor of monitoring it, using humans or any type of labor. So who uses it? Farmers can use it on crops to yield peak potential growth. Doctors, physicians, surgeons, and nurses, or anybody in the entire healthcare industry can also use it. Large companies with thousands of vehicles and devices which need regular maintenance. Companies that wish to prevent or limit theft or shrink within the business. And shrink is losses on products which are damaged, lost, or stolen. People with disabilities can interact with devices and live independently without a caretaker, which is very important as well in healthcare. May even be used in the human brain to further expand on how the cells are. Military used to track enemy movement and communication, traffic centers in highly populated cities and urban areas. So some statistics and analytics on smart dust would be: the price is roughly around $50 to $100 per mote, and knowing that most companies will be buying thousands upon hundreds of thousands of motes to go ahead and track large areas. So hopefully the price is driven down soon so that it'll be more affordable for them to purchase. Sales: Analog, a leading investor in the technology, had $5.1 billion in sales in 2017, which was a 49% increase from 2016. The current size of these motes are 2 by 2 by 4 millimeters, and that's the smallest out to date. And the target size, which we're going for, is 1 cubic millimeter. Business applications for the use of smart dust are very important as they're used along the supply chain. Retailers and distributors who wish to track and keep inventory of product and where and how it moves on the supply chain can in turn speed up supply chain by giving it new insights on faster, more cost-saving ways of transportation. Basically, on the supply chain, you're trying to get the product from its raw state to its final state. in the fastest way possible. And using smart dust can definitely speed this process up. Businesses can also track current states of multiple products which have not been sold and monitor things such as temperature, volume, and supply. This further expanding on the supply chain notion, having moats across any type of environment can speed up any of these supply chain factors by sending quicker signals back to the home base via a cloud.
Now we're going to talk about the advantages of smart dust. There are many advantages to smart dust. Amongst some of those include uses for the military, farming, and factories or plants. For military purposes, it can aid in monitoring activities in places that are very inaccessible so that they can track what the enemy is doing and where they are located at. It can also be used to determine if there are any life-threatening toxins in the air at any given point in time. In the case of farming, smart dust can identify any needs for crops such as nutrients. Smart dust has helped them determine which fertilizers they need to use and which ones they do not. This has helped lower spending on fertilizers for farmers, as they are now only using specific fertilizers when needed, as opposed to multiple fertilizers at once that may not even be needed at all. As a result, farmers have seen an increase in productivity. For factories and plants, smart dust can accurately provide motor health data so that companies can perform maintenance in those places where they are needed. This is beneficial because companies will not have to worry about possibly missing things that need to be fixed, and this will help them avoid things from breaking down or even exploding. In addition to motor health, these smart dust devices are able to determine when pipes are corroding. Again, this assists in preventing bigger problems such as leaks and flooding of the areas that a pipe may be located in. Overall, smart dust has increased productivity in many different areas such as those mentioned. It has improved safety and has reduced costs for many people and corporations. Now, although there are many great advantages to smart dust, there are also disadvantages, and some of those are privacy and environmental safety. A big disadvantage this device poses is its privacy and security. This specific type of technology has been known to be easily invaded. There is an issue of not withholding the privacy of people and companies. It is thought that many people will feel insecure having this device in their home where they can be easily monitored by other people or hackers. Just as beneficial as it is for the military, it is also demonstrating a great amount of threat to them as well, as military level classified information containing details about enemies can be stolen. Smart dust is also very hard to obtain once it has been deployed, due to its small size. Just like any other type of technology, this too will not always be effective and may sometimes fail. If failure happens, it can cause a great hazard on the environment, as it is not composed of environmentally safe materials. Research has made statements that it does not have any harmful effects, but they are harmful if they become burned, inhaled, smoked, or even eaten. Contrary to this, many employees have refused to work in areas where they think that smart dust may have escaped in. Now we're going to talk about the future of smart dust. With the ability to communicate to each other, smart device particles have their own web of wireless radio. Through this, many jobs that people have now may no longer be needed by a human. People who watch levels all day at chemical plants could eventually become jobless as these smart dust sensors are taking over. There was also research done at UC Berkeley where they have proposed the idea to put sensors all over the brain to monitor and determine numerous things. Those include monitoring neurons to help find a way to treat or cure multiple brain disorders. They believe that these sensors could also help find a cure for these disorders, leading to a breakthrough in neuroscience, helping many people along the way. As time goes on, makers of smart dust are looking to completely cut down the size of the sensor so that it is equivalent to the size of dust or even smaller. They also plan to implement greater technology and fix the faults with the sensor. Some researchers also believe that we can send smart dust to outer space in the near future to gain planetary knowledge. This could help them gain a better understanding of the planetary system and send alerts to us whenever there may be objects flying close to the Earth's orbit, which would pose a possible threat to us. Sending smart dust to space can also gain insight as to what other planets may be suitable for life.
This concludes our presentation for Smart Dust. I hope you learned all the possible advantages this can help us in our future, and ways in which it can help our environment and also future generations that may utilize these small little particles. Thank you.